I'm Antonio Burnet. I'm the chairman and founder of Motostalgia Auction, and we're here to talk about an incredible Texas barn find. It's one of those that, as a car guy, you kind of dream of. Funny enough, this collection, literally, it's 7 miles from our office. But we ran into it. The gentleman's name is Jack, and the story goes that he moved down to Texas in the early 70s, around 1972, 1973, and he's obviously a car guy and had some amazing vehicles that once he got to Texas, he put away in his new barn, and always with the intention of getting the time and the money to fix them and to ride them again. The moment that we opened the doors to that barn find was just absolutely amazing. I mean, as soon as I saw the little signs of V12 and V16 on the Cadillacs, I knew that there was something very special. One of my favorite, to be honest with you, is a 1923 Milburn Electric. And I think it's one of my favorite because of the story. There were companies like Milburn and Detroit Electric that built very competitive cars to the market at the time. We're talking about the teens and the early 20s. So Milburn is one of those stories, and history now tells that GM in 1924 bought out the whole company to dismantle the factory, and so they wouldn't have that car competing. Well, the car that Jack had is a 1923 27L, which is the very last model that that company built. Jack was obviously very an enthusiast and cared much about the Cadillacs and the multi-cylinder Cadillacs. It's actually a 1933 V-12 Coupe. It's obviously a rare car too, being that it's a multi-cylinder Cadillac. The great thing about this particular car, obviously the condition of being a barn find and being completely unmolested and original, is that the back of it actually has a 1932 trunk, but the car's a 1933. So this is one of those bodies which happened a lot back in that early century, where vehicles were built with available parts. And of course this car was built as a 1933, but at the time they didn't have a 33 trunk available, so they slapped the 1932, which of course it makes it now a rare car because it's not something that happened to any other body. Some of the cars in this collection, very important. One of the most important ones, or the main, is a 1932 Cadillac V-12 Victoria Convertible. Now this is actually body number 1, meaning this was the very first one that came out of the factory. There were only 4 built. The other 3 were actually V16 cars. So the actual story of these cars tell that this was the vehicle that was used as a prototype to show to the executives, see if they will approve the concept of having a Victoria convertible. At the time the body was ready, there was actually not a V16 chassis available, so they put it on a V12 with the V12 engine. This is one of those cars that's actually considered within the V16 registry, but it obviously carries a V12 chassis and V12 engine. It's never been offered for sale. It's only had 3 owners, and the fact that we found it so close and in such magnificent shape, it's truly a once in a lifetime. The 4th car that he had, it's a very interesting one. It's a 1908 Rio, and that car is significant because Rio was founded by Oldsmobile, and after he sold his company, he wasn't able to go back and use the same brand, so he created Rio. It's a Model G, from what we have found in our research, and it's a convertible car, but not convertible in the sense that we know. It's more of a transformer, because it converts from a 5-passenger touring convertible to a 2-passenger Boattail. The fact that the car is absolutely complete with both choices of bodies, it's very, very rare and very exciting to see. Of course, it's a brass era vintage car, so all the headlights and all the little instruments, it's pure brass, which is absolutely gorgeous. Another car that he had in his collection, another Cadillac, is actually a Cadillac V16. It's a 1938 limousine. What's particular about this specific one is that it's a 5-passenger limousine. Usually limousines in early century pre-war, they were either 7-passenger or as much as 9-passenger. But this particular one does not have the jump seats because the person that ordered it just wanted it for him and his wife. So it's a great car, V16 chassis. The car is absolutely enormous, and it just really talks about the eccentricity of Cadillac and in American life back then. Finding the cars and kind of getting to know the story really capture us. It's almost like a time machine. I mean, really opening those doors of that barn that day. You enter there, you feel like immediately you're in the back in 1930s, and that's why I think it's so amazing.